And how are we this Wednesday night? Hump day night. Hope you're doing well out there. Whatever you're working on, things are going well here. It is that time again. Time for some labs. And time for some security labs. We're in the infrastructure security section of the blueprint. And we're going to look at AAA and local commands. Day 437 of the journey. So not much to blog about, folks. Just today, I went over yesterday's lab this morning, and I tried to get caught up on some flashcards. And this time I just rifled through them. I mean, I was so far behind. Just firing up the Even G, by the way. Hey, good evening, more AA. Yes, Mark Milo. How are you, my man? Hope you're doing well also. But yeah, I went through I probably got through 50 or 60 flashcards. And granted, some of them I was just going really fast, because before usually I'll try to write out like some commands that it wants in, a text file or whatever, scratch them out and then look at the answer. But today I was just, I know it or I don't, know it or I don't. That's the only, when you get so far behind, it's the only way you can catch up. So did some of that and then looked at yesterday's lab in detail, and that was it. Haven't had time for much else, to be honest. But I did crack open the workbook a little earlier, and now we're going to put out the requirements here. Standard disclaimer, this is from the INE workbook, INE.com. If you would like to purchase this workbook yourself, I don't show it on stream. Yeah, I do recommend the product. You can purchase it at INE.com. And I paraphrase the requirements, try to work it out on screen, but if you want to see the screenshots, explanation, verification steps, this one has a lot. This is a long lab, it looks like. There's a lot of explanation here. So anyway, but these are the requirements. This is the third AAA lab. Local command authorization. Again, that authorization is the theme here, it looks like. So we want to do a configure. Okay, so we want local user auth for VTY lines. It's going to be R1. And user admin, pass Cisco, privilege level 7. Okay. Ensure user can use RIP debugging commands. Can disable any active debugging using a single command. We know what command that is. And then should be able to configure any interface IP settings administratively, or enable, disable interface. Can see own permitted commands in running config. Okay. I'm not sure where we're going to go here to find this. Probably a configuration guide, and hope that Cisco has done justice to this material here. Let's go to configuration guides and see. This will be securing user service configuration guide library. A lot of these are Radius, Secure Shell, TACAX Plus, User Security. So it might be under either of these. Why did that open in new? Is it supposed to do that? Okay. Finger authentication, message banners, Oh, you know what? I'll bet this pertains to what we were looking at yesterday. When we were talking about caching, because there's some confusion about the state machine of authentication and authorization. Authentication authorization is blocking procedure, which means the call setup may not proceed while the call is being authenticated and authorized. Any communication call problems in transmission, offload server utilization, and numerous other factors cause significant degradation of router's call setup performance through simply AA authentication authorization step. It does not really explain, though, how it works now. So, thank you, Cisco. Okay, so let's do user security configuration guide. Password privileges and logins. Role-based CLI access. Okay. Indeed. Sometimes finding it is the trick, and sometimes they leave things out, or they have like dead links. They have the system where, as I understand, all documentation, whether it's about protocols or not, all documentation has to be associated with a particular product. And ideally, what they would do is if they retire a product, first of all, I think they should just leave all the documentation out there. Why remove it? It doesn't cost much to, disk space is cheap out there. But even for archival purpose, just mark it as, they could put EOL here or in this, and they do that on some documents. What they'll do is they'll rotate it out, and some of that they don't roll forward. So, for example, they used to have a great document on regex expressions. It was associated to a product, right? To a feature, terminal line configuration. Well, guess what? You can no longer navigate to that. You can search for it and find it, but you cannot navigate to that through the support, which is a big deal when you're taking the lab exam because you can't search in the lab exam. So there's things like that really become an annoyance. So, all right, so here we have, although users can control CLI access via both privilege levels and enable mode commands, these functions do not provide network with the necessary level of detail needed to work in Cisco iOS devices. CLI views provide a more detailed access control. Yeah, this is what we want. I studied a little bit about this for the written. When a system is in root view, it has all of the access privileges as a user has level 15. This between a user has level 15 and a root view user that a root view can configure a new view and add or remove commands from the view. Then you have a lawful intercept view. Like a CLI view, a lawful intercept view restricts access to specified commands. Okay. Then you have super view. Oh my gosh. View authentication is performed by external authentication authorization accounting server. Be the new attribute CLI view name. Okay. Let's see what is related. Feature information rolled by CLI. This is when someone really has a lot of time on their hands. And they don't have... Okay, so parser view first, inclusive. Okay, these are the commands we're going to give them. Here's an example, right? Show IP interface. I'm going to look here to make sure we're going down the right road. And we're not. Okay. So this is not what we're going to use. We're going to use a privilege command. So let's see if we can find... This could be one of those things that Cisco is going to have documentation on the command itself, but they're not going to have any sort of guide. Hopefully that's not the case, but yes, I have little faith. Sorry. Been doing this a long time now. Privilege. Privilege level. To set the default privilege level for a line. Okay, we know that. Users can override the privilege level you set. Use the command by logging in the line, enabling different privilege. They can lower by using the disable command. Some CLI commands are not supported with privilege level command. For example, commands such as router BGP default cannot be associated with a privilege level. Jeez Louise, this is definitely like... So this user we're going to set up as level 7. So we just need to say... we just need to give them these commands, right? So we're going to do... let's fire up router 7, by the way, or router 1. You know, wouldn't it be cool if they had a configuration guides, for example? That said, securing the CLI. Boom, go into that. You have this feature, you have that feature, then you have this feature. Nah, that would be too logical. Can't do that. All right, security initial, we're going to open that. Fire up router role 1. And we're going to say, all right, so we have a username admin, password Cisco, privilege level 7. Do they have a document that explains what all is available with each level? I recall looking for it briefly months ago, but did not find it. I wouldn't count on it, man. Yeah, I don't know. That I do not know. So we're going to do AAA new model, A authentication, VTY, local, line VTY 015, login, authentication, VTY. I forget the exact syntax for that. We'll get through it. And then we're going to do something like privilege exec level 7 and then the command. So debug IP rip. We're going to allow them to do you all, right? Undebug all. Just I wanted to figure. And interface. IP address, maybe? I'm doing a lot of guessing at this point because who knows how this logic works? So we'll do, let's see, conf t, username, admin, password, Cisco, privilege. Privilege 7. So you can't put that on one line. Then we're going to do AAA new model, AA authentication, login, VTY, local, and then line VTY 015, login, authentication, VTY. Yeah, I got that right at least. Then we're going to back up. We're going to say privilege level 7, privilege exec level 7. Initial keywords of the command to modify. Debug. Yeah, there's no help there. Debug IP rip. Undebug all. I guess it's just like it's going to look at search terms. Whatever you put into the parser interface. Yeah, we don't know what that command is. That's unknown. Whoever types interface. Now I'm just looking at the lab because there's no. This is someone who had to like sit around and just try this, try that. Okay, that's under exec level. That's why. it's not known as a, so I have to do privilege configure level 7 interface. There we go. And then we could do a shutdown. Privilege interface. And it says all. What does that mean? All sub options? Oh, so that's exec interface configure maybe? Level 7 IP. Yeah, there's no way I would, I'm just looking at the lab and like typing in what I see. There's no other way to do this in a reasonably. Also, the INE lab doesn't really doesn't throw you a lifeline, because it doesn't even tell you, oh, here's how you can actually find. This stuff is like a very I don't know what to say. Let me see if Network Lessons has anything on it. Yes, Network Lessons has information on it. Thank our stars here. I feel frustrated for you. Now I remember why I stopped looking for more details on this. So I'm not, I feel, that makes me feel good. I'm not the only one just out here barely treading water for material on how this actually works. But Network Lessons, as they normally do, actually is able to take an objective sort of teacher / student perspective on the whole thing, where generally others fail to do that. Network Lessons usually is able to step back and say, okay, let's explain a few things that you might need to know. I'm going to look for it. So Cisco well, let's say privilege level. Show tech support. Oh my gosh, someone posted their entire contents of their tech support on a forum. I get you're trying to make a point, but so you're saying show run all? Yeah, it's not show parser view all. Yeah. Show tech support, include privilege. Okay. And that's cool. I understand that. But what about these commands? So these interface commands that are referenced here. You have interface, configure, exec. So we're able to type those in the parser, right? So shouldn't the parser have a list somewhere of this is everything you can use with the privilege command, privilege level command? So you can configure the other levels and what they can do and see. Yes, but how do you know, for example, what I'm asking here is, there's one here, privilege interface all level 7 IP. So where does this information? Generally, any command like this that you can type in the parser, it'll show up under show run all, or it'll show up under the interactive help, privilege exec level 0. So there's no help here. Am I to assume that basically any command that you could type in a router could be here? Maybe. It would be a luxury, I guess, to assume that someone would come out and tell me that. Let's look back in the command reference. Okay, I appreciate this. So it says that some CLI commands are not supported with privilege level command. Very good to know. Are they going to give me a list? No, they're going to say just for example. So I've got examples, but somewhere somebody knows which commands you can use with privilege level. Somewhere someone knows, but they either did not document it or I don't know. I still found out a breakdown command, but from what I'm reading, it sounds like you get default levels, and for flexibility, yes, true. Yes, indeed. So this is all about customizing the defaults, right? You got 0, 15. So this is, you want to configure something in between. You want to configure a custom level, and you want to assign certain commands to that custom level. Which commands can you assign? You're gonna have to guess, apparently. Because it does not, it gives us some examples. So show, I know I can do show. Other than that, yeah. By default, it's just gonna have 3 levels. Sorry, 0 user and privilege, yeah. User level provides very limited read-only access, and privilege level provides complete control, yes. And I would agree, there are, I've seen this, where we want different levels of access on a router. But which ones can I use and which can I not? Well, I guess you have to experiment to find out. Some CLI commands are not supported privilege level. Which ones? Which commands are not supported? We're going to count to 5. Gonna move on. What we can assume is that they will not ask us in the lab to configure a privilege level command that is not supported by iOS, that we're running in the lab, we'd hope. So let's see here. Let me look through some of this explanation, see if I got this right. Oh, I left one thing out. So line VTY 015, authorization exec VTY. I'll have to define it first. AA authorization. Exec. What I do? VTY. Local. And line VTY 015. Authorization exec VTY. There we go. So I left that out. Did I do configure terminal? What you can do is assign a privilege level and type show privilege to see what list you get. Show, oh, let's see. True, and that would be part of our verification, right? Yeah, like one thing it said is that the user will be able to log in and see their own permitted commands in the running config. So we're going to see, we're going to log in as this user in a second. Show run. Yeah, still exactly. And we used this command yesterday to kind of verify our privilege level. Show run blue privilege. Okay, so I've got privilege interface level 7. Config level 7. Oh, it added some for us. It added no IP. I guess, interesting. Well, at least it's helping us a little bit with the arcane configuration here, because it's saying, hey, if you type IP, you're going to need to know IP as well. So it added that for us, and it added the no for us as well. Go figure. Configure terminal, configure. So it added a few in here that I did not have. Okay. This is highly advanced programming logic here. So if you're going to do debug IP rip, I better put in a separate line for debug IP and for the debug command itself. Did I miss anything? No, I think that's it. Undebug all. I know I put that in here. Didn't I? Oh, I put debug, undebug all. There we go. They need to be able to do show running config, right? So let's see what it adds for us. Oh yeah, we gotta have the just show. Oh my gosh, this is I'm gonna show some of this to some of the coders I work with. I would love to show them how some of this works. They would probably get a kick out of this logic. Anyway, all right, so there we go. It's there. Let's test it. Let's actually fire up router 6. Well, you might as well just put up the pick your command. Mark Milo, you are awesome, dude. I mean, that is the best. I gotta screenshot that, man. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna need that sometimes. I'm gonna refer back to this when I get triggered. I'm like, just pull up the command reference and pick your commands. Oh man. All right. Yeah, do blindfold. Boop. Pick that one. That was good. That was good. All right, so router 6, we'll boot him up, and we'll try to connect. Pin the tail on the command. The blind lead the blind. Pin the tail on the command. So we're going to try to verify. To be fair, it is giving, down below in the workbook, it is giving some detailed explanation of this. Somewhat. it tries to. Okay, I may get rewarded here from the workbook. Yesterday, the work explanation was left with more questions than answers, but this one actually looks like it's pretty good. So I'll look forward to reading that off stream. Let's go to router 6 now. Show IP interface brief. Okay, we should be able to talk to... Yep, so let's do a configuration on the line. Transport input telnet. Oh, and transport output. Line VTY015. And let's try to telnet to 151.46.1. Admin, Cisco. So show privilege 7, okay. Show running. Okay, what it's saying is when you hit question mark here, it should just show you the commands that you're allowed to use. Does not appear to be doing that. Let's see, debug IP rip. Okay, so that seems to work. I don't know how we get OSPF v3 commands though. On debug. Yeah, this doesn't seem to jive here. Like, why would it show me? So I gave a very specific set of commands. I didn't say anything about domain. So why is it allowing me to have that option? Also, in exec mode, it's pretty much giving me, this differs from the workbook. Like the workbook says, you click debug question mark. It still has OSPF v3. So let's do configure. Okay, so I only get terminal here, which is fine. PFR, like I did not give it access to PFR, but okay, it is restricted some things, but others it does not. So that must go towards some, to where it says some commands you cannot use on the privilege level with the privilege level command. That must be what these are. Perhaps some defaults carry over, sort of would defeat the purpose of defining them to begin with. Yeah, maybe these are marked below. Maybe these are some of the ones that, for whatever reason, they're not allowed to be configured with the privilege level command. You know what? We could try that. Let's see if that's true. So let's go to, like we see, what was one we saw? Debug, yeah. OSPF v3. So let's try to disable that. Well, I don't know how to disable it. Let's see if you can enable it. That's what I'm looking for. Privilege, exec, level 7, debug, OSP, SPF v3. Now it says even though you may be allowed to type it in the parser, it may not show in the running config. So let's see. No, it does allow me to. So go figure. Spin the wheel and see what you get. All right, so it says as when I'm logged in and I do show running. First of all, I couldn't do that, could I? It didn't show me anything. Supposedly, according to the workbook, when I do show running, it only shows the commands related to interface and IP, but that's not what I'm seeing here. Let me make sure I have that as a privilege command. Show run privilege. Oh, on router set. Show run. I have show running config here, but I don't know. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to review the rest of this offline, see what I can come up with. AAA has been a struggle. I may need to go to AA after working on AAA. But we will grind on. That's what we do here in the Land Tamer stream. We grind on. We face all obstacles. We overcome. We learn what we can. And we keep moving forward. So that's what we're going to do. Mark Milo, great hanging out. Sir, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. Let's see what we got tomorrow. Not sure. Oh man, any document you find, I would appreciate. And thank you. You know what I'm going to do right now, Mark Milo? I'm going to add you to the VIP list so that you can post links without getting all breaking my end, then back to video. Okay, awesome. Video training. There you go. Yeah, there's this feature called the oh, it wants two-factor authentication. Okay, sure. Yeah, I can add a tag. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to add you as a user. I just want to select name and copy. Thank you very much, Chrome. Okay, boom. As you as a regular. So now it won't gripe about posting links. So let's check out this link, Milo. Multiple privilege levels. Okay. It talks about configure terminal, show interfaces, show running config, display the interfaces. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice little graph. Oh, CatOS. Yeah. Oh my gosh. yeah, thanks so much for hanging out, and wish you the best on your studies. And sending good bits out to everybody. If you're, studying yourself, you're doing labs, you're working, whatever the case may be, always wishing you the best, and we'll keep fighting on here on a Land Tamer stream. See you tomorrow night, same time, same place.